ball.
What's poppin', y'all? It's your boy Pee Wee the Plug, and this is my MLB 22 Miami Marlins franchise. Welcome. I just want to say I did a Miami Marlins franchise on MLB The Show years ago. So any of my day ones that remember that, please drop something in the comments. This was years ago, early podcast days. I'm talking about quality and setup was terrible. My PlayStation was loud, but I was grinding it out. And I know some of y'all that are still here was around for those days. So it's good to see how long we've came from my channel. The fact that MLB The Show is now on Xbox. You know what I mean? Everything is just crazy how far I've come and how much further I still have to go because we're hashtag on the road to 30,000 subscribers. Boom! So much love to y'all. But let's dive in. Okay, so this is not like 2K. I just want to put that out there as I'm looking at the screen and everything. It's still similar to all the MLB The Show franchises I've done in the past. I've always been an avid player of MLB The Show, and it's one of the reasons that I've always had both systems since I converted to playing Xbox to be able to play with my homies and some of the Through the Wire guys. I've still always had a PlayStation 4 with my Xbox. The last one, I forget, I don't even know if that was Xbox One, whatever. And even now, when I got my Xbox Series X, I also got the PlayStation 5 because that was before I knew MLB The Show would be on both. So I've been playing franchises for years. So I know a thing or two, but I've never recorded content with it, so it's going to be a little different. The first thing I do want to go to that's different than 2K, and I said this on my 2K channel recently, is we have GM goals. We have goals in our 3-year contract that they want me to hit, and if I hit them, the better it is for me, more job opportunities for more prestigious franchises. If I don't, I could potentially get fired and have to pick a new team to use. So imagine building up a team and not hitting these goals and then getting fired, and now you got to go find another team to go rebuild that's probably even worse than your team that you're leaving. So I like that aspect about MLB The Show that I think is a bit underrated and something 2K should add into their dynamic of my league or whatever. So they just want to reach the postseason. Okay, they want to reach the postseason because it's been a while, and then they also want to win a division series. So I think those two things that we can really work with. So I like that in the contract. We'll work with those things, and then we have some things on the right that are just slight things. Win 10 consecutive games, win 10 consecutive series, win 20 games in a single month, win 95 games in a season. Those are doable things. The win 10 games in a row was kind of tough, but I think the overall GM goals we can work with. Next thing I want to show y'all, because I know that not everybody is baseball fans, is the roster. And that's the next conversation I want to have with y'all. I was a little hesitant with starting it this early. The only reason I am is because I had promised and I gave out my scheduling in the format that I was going to do it in, and I start hyping people up. So I was like, damn, I don't want to hype y'all up and then have to push it back another week or two. But right now, MLB The Show, they don't have proper rosters, okay? So I'm using people who's downloading rosters, or I'm downloading rosters that people have, and there's certain things like one that keeps standing out to me every time I download a roster is Trevor Story is a 94. And the regular default rosters, Trevor Story was an 86. But it's like everybody is boosting up, or everybody's taking somebody's template of a roster that has Trevor Story updated. And Trevor Story is not a bad player at all. But I think we have to see what he does this year before we boost him to a 94, because he had a solid, okay season in cores for the Rockies. And if you look at his past 3 years, everything has kind of been dropping, not to a terrible rate, but I don't know if it's a 94 rate. I'm not sure if he's been a 94 over the last couple of seasons. 86, 87, 88 was more of the range in my mind. So don't be surprised if we start this and we go over, this is just a preview episode of our team or whatever. Don't be surprised if the next episode we have a new roster in, because there's missing players. Like if you go right here, Eric Thames is a real player, but somebody had to create him because he's missing. You go to the Mets, and you go to second base. Robinson Cano isn't in the game right now, so somebody had to create him, and they did a very fine job. Looks just like him, but that's not him. Some of the trades were manual and not in the game. It's some prospects that were missing. Like one of my favorite prospects plays for the Cincinnati Reds. They have him in here, but this is not MLB didn't put him in. LED the Cruz. You know what I mean? So if we go back, that'll be the only reason. But if not, I'll just roll with it if we get too deep. But this is just a preview episode anyway. But just to lay the groundwork out for those of you, the one thing that we're not going to worry about when it comes to this current team is the pitching. Okay, we have an abundance and the surplus of pitching that is going to be very, very good. We're going to have one of the best pitching staffs in baseball this year or next year. We have Sandy Alcantara. We have Trevor Rogers. We have Pablo Lopez. We have Cesar Sanchez. We have Jesus Luzardo. We had Yuri Perez, who I can't wait, 6'8", right? Or 6'6", 6'8" pitcher. Cannot wait for him to develop. He's still just a 64. Edward Cabrera is still just a 62. So we got guys and we got arms that are going to be able to carry a rotation. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 8 arms. 8 arms that I think can be legit. We only need 5, so that gives us a surplus. Maybe if we want to go out and make a move for a center fielder or extra bat, because that's what we're really going to be worried about is our run support. We actually have a young arm, out of this pool that we maybe can attach to a player and try to go out and trade for somebody that can increase our lineup if it comes out to be that. But that's the one thing I will say. I am proud and I am fascinated with these arms that we have and what we're going to be able to do from a pitching staff standpoint. I think pitching is one of the most, if not the most important thing about a team. So I'm happy that we have that. And these are young arms. Sandy Alcantara is like the vet, and he's 26. I'm kind of mad he only got a B potential. Sandy should have like an A. This is a guy that I think can win a Cy Young as early as this year. Trevor Rogers, A potential. Pablo is a B. Sitcho is a B. Hernandez is a B. Jesus is a B. Yuri is a B. And then Edward is an A. So we have 2 A's and a bunch of B's, but I do think we should have 3 A's. So shout out to that. Relief, the bullpen. Again, the same way I talked about getting extra bat, the bullpen will definitely need some help. We do have a couple of young arms in the bullpen here with Tanner Scott and Jordan Holloway. But a lot of these guys, I don't know. We made a move and we got Tanner Scott and Cole Sulser. Hopefully they'll help out, but I'm not getting blown away with the bullpen, so we are going to need some help in there potentially. And then the closing pitcher, Dylan Floro, definitely going to need some help with him. I don't know how trustworthy he's going to be. As far as field players, we did a very good job this offseason. We did a very good job with acquiring some better talent. Jacob Stallings, they did get from Pittsburgh, though. I think he's going to be really, really good with the young arms that we have, him being a very good defensive catcher who can call a game, and just a vet in the locker room. I like. As far as catching prospects, because Jacob Stallings is 32, I don't like the crop and the group that we have down here. Alex Jackson is already 26, 62 with a B potential. Could be a solid backup catcher. But when we start going into the draft, this is definitely a position we're going to have to emphasize, that catching position. We want somebody who, when Jacob Stallings is ready to exit, can come in and really take the reins as a catcher. Because that pitching staff, like I mentioned, is going to need somebody who can consistently be behind the plate, defensively calling the games for them. So that's a position to look out for in the draft. First base, we got some aged guys with Jesus Aguilar and Garrett Cooper. I do think both of these guys can take turns as far as DH and fielding. 2 of the biggest bats on the roster as of right now, as far as power and potential home run. Same thing as catcher. The group of prospects that we have beneath them to come and take the reins, it's just not good. We look at everybody's potential as a D, just straight up D's, and some of these guys are extremely old. Got a 33 guy who's playing AA baseball with a D potential. That's kind of terrible. Even him, he's 26, 27, 30. Lewin Diaz, he's the only guy that's kind of like, but again, the potential, I don't know how much better he's going to get. So that's another position for us to look out for when it comes draft time. Second base, Jazz Chisholm, one of our guys who's going to be an exciting player for y'all throughout the series, a guy that's going to give his team swag, a guy that has a high amount of potential, another young guy. You pair him with those pitching groups, and we continue to have good potential for the next year or so. We even got Diaz. He's 25, B potential. Definitely a guy that's going to be coming up very, very soon to be maybe a utility guy. Second base, third base, shortstop, pull hitter. Another guy that we can work with. What's his speed? Speed is only 30. That's a little disappointing. But yeah, definitely bring him on to be a bench utility guy that can fill up different spots, whenever somebody needs to take a break. John Birdie, it's cool. A real utility guy, can play infield, outfield. Him being 32, what's his contract? Him being 32, and he has this last year of his deal. I don't know. We might have to go into arbitration with him. Hopefully we won't. Hopefully he doesn't have anything that's crazy as far as money-wise. But yeah, second base was good. Third base, Brian Anderson. It's funny, Brian Anderson was one of the top prospects in the Miami Marlins farm system back when I did my rebuild. He was like their young guy. So I remember playing with him. He's gonna be good. The one thing about Brian Anderson though is that he can play outfield as well, because we do have Joey Wendell, who's a solid veteran. He's gonna be a good guy in the locker room, good guy on the field, just a guy that's gonna be able to do a little bit of everything. He's not gonna have many holes in his game. Brian Anderson does have the A potential for the third base, but again, I'm looking at the prospect system and our farm system at third base. Not a good position. Catcher, first base, third base. We don't have anything here, and really second base outside of Isan Diaz. We don't have. Again, 26 with a 59 overall and a D potential is just not gonna work. You know what I mean? It's just not gonna work. So the infield is gonna need some work. Look like we're gonna have to really draft for some youth in the farm system. Shortstop, we got Miggy Rojas. Again, 33, but he's very, very solid. Good contact hitter against lefties. Good defensive glove. But right here, exciting. When you think about Jazz Chisholm, the young pitching staff and the arms, you look at the ages and the potentials. You have, like I said, 8 arms. We had a couple arms in the bullpen. We had Jazz Chisholm, and now we have Khalil Watson for our infield duo at second and shortstop. This could be extremely, extremely huge for us. Jose Devers is in here. He has a B potential. Secondary position is second. So I really like this. And then again, Miggy Rojas is, I think, going to be a good guy that we can have in front of Khalil Watson to not have to rush the process. We're going to get some good defense. Hopefully we get some good batting. It's always up in the air with a lot of these guys. But hopefully he can hold it down until we got to call Khalil up. He has 2 more years on his deal. Hopefully in the next year, Khalil will be ready, because again, that's an electrifying duo in the middle of the field with Jazz and Khalil. So we're going to be watching Khalil very steady, because he can change the dynamic of the course of his team. In the outfield, one of our big acquisitions this offseason, Jorge Soler. You don't know what you're going to get from Jorge Soler. He was traded from the Royals to the Braves because of how bad he was doing with the Royals, and then he gets to the Braves, turns it around, ends up being a very, very quality hitter and winning World Series MVP on a team that had Freddie Freeman and Ozzie Albies, all these different talents. Jorge Soler is the guy who won World Series MVP with some home runs in that World Series. So hopefully he can take that momentum from that playoff season and the World Series, and he can bring it over here and give us a consistent power bat. It would be good if he can get back to how he was hitting with the Royals a couple years ago when he had like 48, 49 home runs. We could really use a guy to give us at least 35 home runs. So I'm hoping that from him. Again, the left field options as far as the farm system, very, very little. Very, very just disappointing. We got to really get some fielding players in the prospect farm system. We got pitching galore, but the actual players in the field, it's not there. Center field, this is the sticky situation for us. We got Brian De La Cruz, 25, 76 at a D. He's going to definitely be a bench player. a bench fielder or whatever, a bench bat. Good contact against lefties though, which is always important to have somebody off that bench, who can face lefties at a very good rate. Roman Quinn from the Phillies, 28.75, solid. And then right here, this is the guy that I'm betting the house on, Jesus Sanchez. We need him to have a breakout year. I really need him to have a breakout year, especially because he's playing center field right now. We got him at a 64 speed. His arm and his fielding, everything is good, but we need that batting to start develop this year, and we need him to break out and be a huge part of our offense. And hopefully, him being in center field won't cost us much defensively. We don't really have a legitimate center fielder, but we're going to give Jesus Sanchez the keys to try to see what he can do. If not, we do have another guy that's out there in right field that I think could probably play center if we have no other option. Victor Mesa Jr., he was also in my rebuild that I did like 4 years ago with the Marlins, so it's cool to see him still on the team. Peyton Burdick, 25.65 with a B. Nobody I'm gonna get too excited about, but hopefully he can develop into something. We'll be watching him. And then Victor Mesa, who's also on my rebuild that I did years ago, see potential. So the center field, we got a few options. We got some options out here, but we really hanging our hat and putting all of our hopes into Jesus Sanchez, for real. And then right field, the last position, Avisail Garcia. Avisail Garcia is the guy that I was thinking about when I said that if Jesus Sanchez is just butchering it in center field and he's not holding it down, I think Avisail Garcia is a good last resort. Speed is solid, reaction is solid, arm is solid, fielding is solid, his bat is good. We're going to rely on him to hit the ball really well for us. We have him, Soler, Jesus Sanchez. We got some guys, Garrett Cooper, Jesus Aguilar with the DH now. We got some guys that could turn the ball around and put some points on the board for our pitching staff. It's all about who can stay consistent as far as getting on base, the Jazz Chisholms of the world, Miggy Rojas and things like that. So that's going to be something to watch out. JJ Bleday is our top prospect as far as, position players. 68, beat potential 24. I'm hoping by next year, we're going to get through this year, and I'm hoping by next year he can be somebody that we look to put into the outfield. The one thing I will say is we don't have to rush because we do have some good options. Is Avisail Garcia, we get signed. Jesus Sanchez and Jorge Soler. Want to look at their contracts really quick. We got Soler for 3 years. Jesus Sanchez ain't going nowhere, so we don't really have to worry about that. And then we got Garcia for 4 years as well. So actually, if we wanted to make a big home run play, I've been thinking about this a lot, as y'all can see. We want to make a big home run play. Depending on how good this guy get and how good he shows himself to be, he's actually a guy we can take and we can pair with another one of our pitching prospects and maybe a heavy contract or somebody that's a little bit older. One of these options out here of like Aguilar has $8 million, Garrett Cooper has $2 million. Let's see, John Birdie has what? $700,000. Wendell is not a guy that I would want to trade because he's just so solid, but he has a $4 million deal. Miggy Rojas, good example. $5 million, 2 years left. Again, don't want to rush the process with Khalil Watson, but if we took a veteran like Miggy Rojas and we attached one of our nice pitching prospects and JJ Bleday out of right field, it could get us back a talent that could really take our team to the moon. We don't have a face as far as position players. We have a face in the staff with Sandy Alcantara and I think Trevor Rogers. We could say Jazz Chisholm could be the face, him and Khalil Watson, but I think in the outfield we need a guy. And one of the guys that I'm gonna be looking at, just because of what's going on out there in Pittsburgh, I'm gonna be looking at Brian Reynolds, man. I really am. This guy's a 27-year-old, 84 overall with an A potential, good bat, good defense. This is the type of guy I think we could really use, a consistent, steady guy out there in center field. And then also I'm going to be looking at the MLB draft. I really am going to be looking at the draft. And I just want to see if we looked at him really quick before we get up out of here. If we did look at Brian Reynolds with a $4.5 million salary. And we then went to our right field. We put J.J. Bleday. We put who's only a $70,000 contract, which is why we need somebody who has, some millions of dollars. Right now would be a bad time to maybe put in Miggy Rojas. But then again, not necessarily. We can always move Jazz to short or Birdie. Put Birdie in at short. We could put Wendell at short. I wouldn't mind moving Joey Wendell to second maybe, and then moving Jazz to short. But yeah, we can put Miggy Rojas in there. And then you think about one of our pitching prospects down here. Even Max Meyer, I didn't mention. Max Meyer, that's 9 arms. So yeah, I'm looking for somebody that has like a B. I don't want to give up Yuri Perez though. But you think of like Hernandez, we might need him for our actual rotation of 1, 2, 3, 4. I might put Luzardo in that. But yeah, Hernandez, they're definitely interested in making that deal. We give up 2 prospects. You know what I mean? Maybe you look and see if you don't have to give up Bleday. They looking like they want somebody else. You got to look around what this guy do. You know what I mean? Like, there's some guys out here. We have enough talent with that pitching. Whatever pitcher we give up, whatever pitching prospect we give up is going to do it. Like, look, Trevor Rogers, they interested. Sandy, they interested. Pablo, interested. Sitcho, interested. Hernandez, they want one more guy. So now after Sitcho, they're going to, every prospect, they're going to want another guy. So I'm fine with that. We're not going to do it now. We're not going to pull the trigger. But we give them Miggy Rojas, a pitching prospect, and a position player prospect, and we can do it. So let's just see. Hernandez, and I want to see who is a prospect that we had as a B. Alex Jackson, they're interested. Peyton Harry, they're interested. Garrett Cooper, they're definitely interested in making this deal. He's not even a prospect. I wouldn't do them dirty and get them two older guys like that. I would definitely give them Jose Devers, interested. Yeah, like a Jose Devers would be real good. But then they have a shortstop though. They have a shortstop. What position? They have Neil Cruz, and they also have Nick Gonzalez. So what is the outfield looking like? The outfield is looking scarce as far as talent, or scarce. Connor Scott. Connor Scott is 22. Yeah. They need some. They look like the outfield is cool. It ain't nothing overwhelming. We'll probably give him an outfielder, or like I said, Jose Devers. He can play multiple positions. Hayden Burdick. We'll see. But Brian Reynolds is definitely a guy we're looking to. The next episode, we'll begin to simulate, see how we are as a team, get through spring training. I also want to say, if you do play MLB The Show and you've been seeing any good rosters, please drop them in the comments. Please, please, please let me know, because I am searching for some good rosters. But that's episode 1 of the Miami Marlins rebuild. It's your boy Pee Wee the Plug, and as always, I am out. Peace.